From News 9, this is breaking news.
All right, Brent Venables, the newest, I should say, OU head football coach. We've been tracking his every move ever since the announcement was made. And Dean, what are we seeing here?
Well, I've got to thank my source. We won't name who he is, but he's been with me now for 5.5 hours telling me when that plane is going to land, and he's updated it a few times. And that plane with Brent Venables, his family, and some of the OU personnel, they are on that flight, and they are going to touch down in about 2 minutes. And so Storm Jones will be there once they do.
Yeah, I think he is there right now. He's been there all afternoon. Storm, I know that it was so loud just a few minutes ago when we checked in with you last.
I'm sorry, Sylvia. Are you talking with me? okay, Sylvia.
That's what I was saying. It was loud.
Maybe in the distance you can see those lights now coming in over Moore. We're told that is Brent Venables making a final approach for Max Westheimer Airport here in Norman. Now just hundreds of folks. I don't know that you could get more folks in the lawn behind the airport. Just a few minutes ago, they actually had to ask people to get off the roof of Max Westheimer Airport here in Norman. Now, it looks like maybe they're circling around, flying past once over the airport before touching down. Now, the whole OU pomp and circumstances out here, the Sooner Schooner and Boomer and Sooner, the Pride of Oklahoma band, the Palm Squad. We saw them roll out a red carpet, a literal red carpet, and some pyrotechnics earlier out on the runway. Now, we're told once the coach lands, he will have an opportunity to address fans here at the airport before loading up and heading to OU's campus. Now, obviously, there'll be a formal press conference tomorrow, but for these few hundred people out here tonight, they just couldn't wait to see the newest head football coach of the University of Oklahoma, Brent Venables, arriving in Norman any minute. Sylvia?
All right, thanks, Storm. And it looks like that plane will touch down at any minute now. We do know that when Venables exits that plane, he is expected to address the crowd. Now, a lot of pomp and circumstance, as Storm was saying, they literally rolled out the welcome wagon. We know the Sooner Schooner was there. Dean, just unbelievable.
Well, it is, and it's first of all, in this day and age of marketing and social media, Oklahoma is as good as any in pulling together things like this, pomp and circumstance. They've done it for other coaches, none this big. But, and some of those people are on this trip, and that's why you're seeing these interviews on the planes and those types of things. But I think people who were with us earlier and saw Brent got a taste of what excites people about Brent Venables. It's a good-looking guy who's charismatic, who is full of energy. Heck, some of my critics of him say, can he be stable enough to succeed in this era where you have to be so organized with the NIL and with these transfers? But there you see the passion of him on the sidelines. You saw him in the plane, and you're going to see him in just a few minutes in person here in Norman. But kudos to the OU people for being able to pull this off.
It looks like the plane is finally on the tarmac. Is that what we're seeing right there? Oh, it is not. That is not it. Has not landed just yet. But as you said, Dean, his plane is scheduled to land at any moment now. We did see him on the plane via Zoom just a short while ago. After OU made the announcement, he himself confirmed it. He's headed to Norman. Yes,
it is official now. We've been tracking this story forever. His name was the first one. I know it was with me, and I assume with all the other cats out there trying to follow this story, because he's a natural, because of why they're hiring him. You know, he's been here. Bob knows him. Bob worked with him, and they trust him. But they were looking for some other people. They were looking for a bigger fish. I'll report this in the Blitz. It's coming up, a long version of the Blitz. But they were looking at bigger fish and didn't find them. Whether they actually even interviewed them is not certain right now. I know a lot that went into the thinking during that process that I'll try to elaborate with. But even they didn't get back to the other, what I thought was a prime candidate. The defensive coordinator, Dan Lanning at Georgia, was expecting to interview with Oklahoma, and they didn't get to him. Why not? They hired Brent Venables, and they decided to go that direction.
Okay, we're still waiting for that plane to land and hopefully hear from him. Hear what he has to say to his many fans already. He hasn't even touched ground yet, but there are so many people already rooting for him. Storm was just there a moment ago. We tried to speak with him, but you heard just how loud it is and the excitement that is out there. So we will come back in just a short while. Hopefully by then the plane has landed. Oh, they said that we're staying on.
Well, I think they're wanting to hear this note I'm going to point out. No, I don't think they are. I think we're just staying on a little bit longer. You know, coaches bring different personalities. Let's go back in Oklahoma history. Most of you won't remember Bud Wilkinson, but we sure do around the Griffin family. 47 straight wins, just legendary, iconic coach. Bud was in a coat and tie on the sideline and smooth and svelte. The next guy of prominence that came along was Barry Switzer, the swashbuckling bootlegger's boy who either is loved or hated by a few, but mostly loved by everyone because of his charisma and winning national championship. Bob Stoops rolls in. Bob, a little more defensive, a little more defensive coordinator oriented. Barry was offensive. And so you get a feisty guy and a winner. And the people around here really love him right now. And so what's Oklahoma getting now? They're sticking with a defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinators are the Lincoln Rileys who are boop, boop, boop. Let's be creative. Let's find that. Let's bring a quarterback in. Let's do that. And then let's leave town in the middle of the night. But that's what offensive coordinators do. But the defensive coordinator, from Stoops now to Venables, I think you're sensing what that personality is. The Oklahoma players are going to love it. Now, is that enough to keep them aboard? Because that's the most important thing. Keeping these guys, keeping commitments and recruiting others, and hopefully him loading up a bunch of guys from Clemson. But that personality is what's going to jump out at people. And so I don't know how long the welcome mat is going to be there, or what do they call it? I don't know how long.
Welcome wagon?
Yeah, I don't know how long that the cushion's going to be there for winning, but it will start out on fire. Trust me, and you're seeing some of it tonight. But his personality is what will drive that and what the players will initially just fall in love with.
And one thing that you emphasized was the energy that he brings to the table. And we caught a glimpse of that a little earlier when he zoomed from the airplane and had a little say.
Oh, yeah. That's got Vinny written all over it, doesn't it, right there? It's meant to be. We come as Sioux Nation. Boomer.
So is that how we're going to dress him, Vinny, now? He's got the OU hat on?
Yeah. I mean, he relates to players. You got to realize this guy has largely made his living on being able to recruit and thus relate to players, and players of all backgrounds. You see the OU teams, you see the others, so we know the backgrounds of the majority of these players, whatever color they are. It's not important, but what their makeup is inside generally goes along with Brent Venables and buys into it, and that's what makes him a hot commodity. That's what helps him recruit the talent that allows the teams that he's coached defensively to be extremely successful. So now the challenge will be, you're not at Clemson, you're not winning national championships there, you're at Oklahoma, where a guy left in the middle of the night, God love him, Lincoln Riley, but he left, and a lot of people have gone. It's been deserted to a degree, and so, you know, how challenging will it be? He'll earn every penny of the undetermined or unannounced salary that he will be paid.
Okay, and it has been, as Storm said a little earlier tonight, it's been absolutely heartbreaking for so many Sooner fans. But Storm, you're out there at the airport right now, and from what we heard just seconds ago, that roar, it didn't sound like those fans were too heartbroken anymore. It sounded like they were excited.
Yeah, these fans, their phones are out waiting for this touchdown. We told you it looked like they were coming in earlier. They flew around and kind of buzzed the airport, coming to get a good look at the few hundred people who have assembled here at Max Westheimer Airport, about 2.5 miles from OU's campus. There's a lot of folks on people's shoulders just to get a view. I told you earlier, some folks even climbed up on the roof of the airport. They're now down, but the anticipation here, you know, Lincoln Riley leaving under the cover of night to head out west. You know, there is no cover here in Norman. Everyone with their phones out. Very anticipated arrival here of Brent Venables here in Norman, guys.
There for several hours now. You've been mingling with those folks. What have they told you? Have they said anything about Lincoln Riley? Have they said how they feel about this new coach? What have they been saying?
Yeah, we can't say many of the Riley comments on television, Sylvia, but it's fair enough to say it's not a favorable impression of the former OU. They are excited about Brent Venables. It's almost like a homecoming. Many people have told me there's signs that say, "Welcome home, Brent." Very excited folks here. And like I was saying, it's really a wide variety of folks. We saw children in car seats up to folks in their maybe 70s or 80s out here to welcome the coach. We saw politicians from Norman out here on near the tarmac at Max Westheimer Airport. And then again, just the pomp and circumstance of it all. Boomer and Sooner and the Sooner Schooner also strutting their stuff on the tarmac. We have the Pride of Oklahoma band standing by. I'm sure we'll get a performance from them in a little bit, as well as the OU Palm Squad. Now, there's also kind of a motorcade assembled with some SUVs down the way. So, again, the idea is the plane will land and the coach will get off. He'll greet the fans who have come out to see him and welcome him to Norman. He'll have an opportunity to thank them for coming out. And here is the plane coming down now. Folks have been waiting here at Max Westheimer Airport for hours for the plane carrying OU's 23rd head football coach, Brent Venables.
Finally touching down, the moment that so many Sooner fans have been waiting for. As Storm said, OU's 23rd head football coach landing here in Norman Airport.
It's probably a good time to add that Joe Castiglione has been masterful at hiring coaches, be it Patty Gasso, be it Sherry Cole, be it Lincoln Riley or Bob Stoops, and others. But his two most recent hires appear to be home runs, and they are super energetic people. Jenny Baranchek is the OU women's basketball coach. They won again today. She's off to a fantastic start with personality. And Porter Mosier is doing the same thing in men's basketball. And boy, he brings a ton of energy. And you throw on top of that, Joe C is saying, bring me some steam, bring me some energy, and we'll get these kids fired up to watch men play basketball. We'll continue to fill the stands. And until something bad happens, keep coming to games, and we'll give you fluids and food and let you watch Brent and company go play ball. That is Joe's intentions.
Now, we do know that coming up at 10 o'clock, you and Dusty and John, you're going to be talking really in depth about this whole thing. You even jump back into the archives. Is that right? Yeah, really do. I spoke, I think I was the last one to speak with Brent before he left for Clemson, and we're going to air that interview. But also, as you know, I've had no life for the last week, and literally asked my wife, every waking minute has been pretty much on a telephone or working this story. So I'm going to try to bring in that story, and there is the video of the interview. Look at those young guys. I'm going to try to bring all of the information that I learned from a week and from some dozen unbelievable sources together in 60 seconds, so you can get an idea of what we have sourced to believe the story has been. Yeah, because you've had a lot of information to kind of sift through.
Oh,
because when something like this happens, you get a lot of credible information and some that you got.
90% of it's not good. Okay. And a lot of I hate to say it, a lot of the people in our business sit around and talk to media people or sit around and throw darts at things that they think are cute and funny instead of getting on the phone and talking to coaches they've known for 30 years or 20 years, or hopefully they played Pee Wee football and have someone to rely on. But, you know, the important thing is to talk to the right people. And we know some of the people who were right in the middle of this thing, and we know everything that was going on with them, their contact, etc. But at the end of the day, Joe Castiglione looked around. He didn't interview the coach at the defensive coordinator at Georgia as we expected and as he expected, Dan Lanning, but he had had enough apparently and said, Brent's our guy, now is the time, let's bring him in, let's do the pomp and circumstance, and let's get him out there with those players and bring in new coaches And God, I just hope some of these coaches on the staff, the Bill Bedenbows, and I don't want to name them all, but I hope that some of them get to stick around here because they love it and their families love it here as well.
Well, let me ask you this, Dean. We've been talking about this coach, but let's talk a little bit more about the guys that he was brought in to coach. Now, how will they mesh? I mean, usually it takes some time for the coaches to figure out for his guys to figure out what he's looking for in them.
Well, that's where that personality that you saw will come in handy because they will play for that. Oklahoma this year played like its coach coached, I hate to say it, somewhat, relatively disinterested. This guy will not be disinterested or relatively disinterested. He will bring the passion. The players will want to play for him. Will they be good enough? How many of the good ones are staying? How many of the good ones can he convince to come? And how many can he possibly bring with him? That'll be the answer short term. And long term, it'll be a matter of how good you can be and whether he can handle being the head coach of a monster program like this at the most sensitive and difficult, challenging time in the history of this football program.
Okay. And he's coming from a big football world as well. We know that, as you said, the possibility of bringing some of those guys here, and that's something that I think that fans wouldn't be disappointed to see.
No, you wouldn't. You know, one of the things that I'm kind of disappointed in what's going on now is some of the players that Oklahoma are headed to USC. And some of the fresh recruits, top players in the country, have just immediately decided to go to USC. You know, ethics, you go into all that you want. But so I don't know what Brent Venables is going to do. I don't think he's got a bunch of Clemson linemen on that plane, but a lot of fans would be happy if they started to deplane.
I know that they would. Okay, so that, for those who are just joining us, we've been following this pretty closely. The OU's new head football coach landing at the airport there in Norman. That is Brent Venables.
Family with him.
Family with him. They are pulling in now. We know that there is a large fan base there. We know the Sooner Schooner is there. A lot of excited people holding up signs. Storm Jones has been following this closely all night. Storm, what are you learning or what are you seeing at this very moment?
Well, Sylvia, this is what folks are waiting for here. As soon as that red light turns off in the airplane, the media is going to be allowed out on the tarmac to welcome the new coach. The coach is going to have an opportunity to say a few words to the crowd of folks, the crowd of Norman residents and OU students alike out here waiting for this moment to get a first glimpse at the newest football coach, the 23rd football coach here at the University of Oklahoma. So we're going to make a quick move out to the tarmac, and then the pomp and circumstance begins with the Pride of Oklahoma band and really all these folks just excited to welcome Coach Brent Venables here to Max Westheimer Airport, the airport, the University of Oklahoma's airport here in Norman, guys.
Let me throw in a note. The guy telling me when they were going to land, it's been right all along, sends me a note and says the reason they were 2 minutes late is they decided to fly him over Owen Field with the lighted stadium.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, so they did that and have just landed.
Well, good for them. So, I mean, from the moment they have come into town, what's so shocking, you know, to talk about just how big football is here in the state. This is a Sunday. It is going on 10 o'clock at night. And people who are normally in bed, they're up.
People like to win. I mean, people around the country enjoy college football, but Oklahoma, the passion is something special. And I think what has really invigorated people more than possibly ever before is that people felt the program was on the precipice of national championships and jumping into a successful run into the SEC. And that was thrown upside down by the coach who left exactly 7 days ago. And so I think fans were defensive, they were competitive, they were combative, they wanted the right guy, and now they got a guy, and the guy they got is someone with personality with which they will be able to be attracted to and attach themselves.
Yeah, I think that this, after such a big blow, like you said 7 days ago, this has been exactly what we needed.
Yeah, yep. I mean, I hate to always come back to the bottom line because I'm a bottom line guy, but the bottom line is going to be the wins, okay? At some point, it's going to be the wins. But in terms of this type of stuff, OU's done it the right way. and Brent will do it the right way. Don't know, Storm, maybe you can jump back in and tell us what to expect in terms of Brent addressing a crowd. But if he does, you'll see his personality again there. And then again tomorrow, there's a morning press conference on the University of Oklahoma campus that, of course, I'll be down there with others, and we'll get a big taste of Brent circa 2021.
Okay. I don't know if we can get a shot back out there to the tarmac and see exactly what's going on there. Just a few minutes ago, we saw the plane had just landed. They were waiting for the red light to stop blinking. Oh, what do we got here? Is he coming? Has it opened yet? Oh, it has not opened. Everyone just waiting in anticipation.
Well, now, did you just think if you're the kids of Brent Venables and you know that he's loving it, that his kids can experience this, and his wife, that they can be part of this? He's been an assistant coach his whole life. I don't know how much he wanted to be a head coach. He told me he didn't care about it. But they've got to be looking at this proud of their father and loving the opportunity to, hey, if we're going to be moving, let's go back to Norman.
Yeah.
So, you know, it has to just be a once-in-a-lifetime moment for Brent and his family.
Yeah, as you said a little earlier.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, you talked to him a few years ago, and as you said, he did not want perhaps the position of head coach, the headache that comes along with it. But here we are seeing him here, and I think that being a part of Oklahoma, it is very family-oriented, so I think if that's a hesitation you're having.
Well, what else is appealing to him besides that familiarity is that Joe Castiglione's still here. Bob Stoops is still here. It's going to be the interim, and I'll step away because there are the Venables.
Looks like the family that's coming off.
Great to meet you. Don't know how long it was for Saturday night. It might go on, but hey, knowing these kids today, what's Saturday into Sunday into Monday?
I know.
You know, you young girl, young lady.
I would have been in bed. Maybe not for this, though. I would have stayed up for this.
Is that Coach Switzer?
I didn't catch a glimpse of him.
No, I think that's Joe Harris there. Yeah, there's Joe Harris to Brent's right, to your left. Joe Castiglione there in that group as well. And this is the fun part. This is the easy part. But enjoy it while you can and while they can.
There he is, number one, right there. Do you think that he and his family expected this sort of welcome home?
No.
Back home?
You know, they've been around here before when big things have happened, but not like this, because it's a sort of semi spontaneous, organic thing, but there had to be some planning behind it. But that's why people come to Oklahoma, you know? They come to Oklahoma because of the history and the tradition and the championships and the reason that people come out to the Max Westheimer tonight is because of that stuff, and they want to see the new guy, you know, the new toy, the new guy who might be it. We all want something new. We all want hope, and in Brent, they trust.
All right, Storm has been out there all night. Storm, we just saw the coach's family get off that plane. What can you tell us?
Yeah, obviously just so much excitement as Brent Venables gets off of the airplane with Joe Castiglione, athletic director at OU, as well as OU President Joe Harris. And the winds actually picked up out here just as soon as they have landed. Kind of stuff's flying around here, but you can hear the pride of Oklahoma in the back as Coach Venables taking photos there with his family, the family of Joe Castiglione, meeting President Joe Harrah's family for the first time. Undoubtedly, this has been such a stressful week for the folks leading the organization, not only the university, but the athletic department as well. They're taking in this moment just to celebrate. It has to be a sigh of relief that this week is finally over. Now we're told after this, the coach will have an opportunity to go use some speakers set up to address the fans that have gathered here at Max Westheimer Airport. I'm going to say we're probably up to 400 or 500 people now, and they're going to make their way over there now. We have Boomer and Sooner, the ponies, out here with the Sooner schooner.
Storm, it doesn't look like things are going to clear out anytime soon. A lot of energy there right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so far, we're still probably 60 yards from the crowd that's gathered. Once the coach starts making his way towards the crowd, man, it's going to be electric. Folks on each other's shoulders, children. Before they were playing catch out here at the airport all afternoon. A group of kids just waiting for this moment. Now they're perched up on their father and mother's shoulders just to get a look at this coach that, you know, Sooners and folks here in Norman hope sticks around for a while. You know, they say this has the potential to be one of those remember when moments for folks here in Norman. Say, remember when I was there at the airport to greet Coach Venables.
I can tell you this, Storm, Brent is the kind of guy, and he's at the stage of his career that, no knock against Lincoln, good luck, and he'll probably kill it out there, but he's not going to be here if he wins to the degree of Lincoln or less or more. He's not taking off for Miami or USC. He'll stay here as long as he wins, and he hopes he'll be able to retire alongside icons that are, I'm trying to confirm that Coach Switzer is out there, along with icons like Coach Switzer and Bob Stoops and others.
And he is expected to address the crowd at some point. Storm, do we have any idea when that may happen tonight?
No, just as soon as they wrap up pictures here, he's going to go over to the PA speaker setup. Dean, I do not see Coach Switzer out here right now. Not to say that he's not out here. There's certainly plenty of folks out here. But I haven't seen Coach Switzer yet. But if I do, I'll make sure to point him out to you all. So, again, Storm, here we go. Coach is going to, yeah.
Go ahead, Storm.
No, he's just starting to make his way over to the crowd, Sylvia.
Some of the people there that he's being reacquainted with, I should say. I see Mike Jones, a former Sooner quarterback, UCO, a local guy around town who's been around the program forever, and they embraced for a long time. I don't know that was Larry Nafee, but I see a lot of other familiar faces. And this is what Brent's coming home to. This is what he wants.
It's not a bad place to go to. Look at that, fireworks. They've got pyrotechnics out there.
That's not incoming, right?
Gosh, look there. Got our mascot.
Coach Switzer says he's in Vegas. Just got word. So his heart is there, and he was at the press conference on Monday when Oklahoma tried to regroup itself, announced Bob Stoops being the interim coach. So cool Coach Switzer's in Vegas monitoring things.
Okay. Look at that crowd. It looks like a concert. Everyone holding up their cell phones, their flashlights, all hoping to get a picture, a glimpse of OU's newest head football coach.
What if you're students? Tell us about it, Storm. If you're a student out there, you're not working for us, would you have been out there?
I'm sorry?
If you weren't working for us and you were a student at Oklahoma, would you be in the middle of this fray?
Oh, without a doubt, Dean. You know, usually don't work the weekends, but I got this opportunity, Dean, as an OU alum. This is where we wanted to be this evening.
Yeah.
I can just tell you this is such a special moment for all of the students out here. I'd say the crowd is probably 70-30 students.
Yeah.
And this is a moment, like I said, we didn't really have with Lincoln Riley when I was a student here. There wasn't this grand entrance. There wasn't the suspense as we're seeing tonight. Finally, a sigh of relief for so many students and so many fans as Coach Venables giving high fives up and down the line this evening.
Storm.
A guy in Oklahoma.
Storm, how many people are there? And see if you can grab Coach Venables. Tell him we said hello and see what he says.
We'll certainly try, Dean.
You can
We're
do
already
that.
signing autographs here.
He's signing autographs, getting hats with happy faces on them.
I know you may be arrested by the OU police if you do it, but go give it a whirl.
But it's worth it.
I remember when Mick Cornett ran around the base. I remember when Mick Cornett ran around the bases with a guy who hit a home run for the 89ers who won a championship. So you need to top Mick.
I don't even know if you can hear him over that crowd.
Hey, Storm's going to qualify as a Washington reporter on politics. Mr. President! Yes, Mr. President.
Let me get out of your way.
Brent Venables, welcome home. Hey, this is
And I tell you what, you talk about a week of up and downs. There's never been, I mean, I've been around this place approximately 100 years and involved in a lot of this for half of that. But to lose to your Bedlam rival, to lose the consecutive Big 12 championship run, to lose out on a chance to go to the playoffs, and then to lose your head coach.
Addressing the crowd now.
And I'll shut up.
No, Dean, I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear it. The coach is talking now.
Yeah, we can hear just a little bit.
Back here 10 years later, and to show them where they're from, and just an amazing place. Our family's been forever in debt, and thankful for the opportunity that we had when we were here back in from 1999 until 2011, and but not a better way to come back. Hey, we left, and it was great, but coming back to this, absolutely.
We're going to hear a bunch from you tomorrow, but I got two quick questions. What's this week been like for you from the first moment you got that call from Corpus Christi?
Well, it's just been very surreal, almost numbing, to be honest with you. Like, come on, like, no way, this is not going to happen. And, like, something's going to happen, sure enough. And, you know, there's plenty of fabulous coaches across the country. There are. And so I'm just very, very thankful and very fortunate. President Harris and Joe Castiglione and the administration, the Board of Trustees, this university can have any coach in the country. And, you know, any coach in the country would love to have the opportunity to be here in my shoes. So I'm just thankful. Just so thankful to them, their leadership. But most of all, I'm thankful to these fans. And absolutely amazing and passion. I love it. So genuine. It's so real. It's authentic. And the y'all are on fire tonight. And
Last question. How does this sound to your ears? Brent Venables, head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners.
I wake up every day, and I'm passionate about it. I really have deep passion and love for my job. It doesn't seem like work, and I love what you do. And to have the opportunity the first time I get to lead a program at Oklahoma, are you kidding me? It doesn't really get better than this. It really does.
Brent Venables, Sooner Nation.
Make his way back over here again.
Storm, we just heard the coach address the crowd, and we can make some of it out over the crowd and over the wind, just a little bit. Could you make anything out further? We know that he's grateful to be here and excited to be here and for his first head coaching job to be here at OU.
Yeah, he basically said, look, the University of Oklahoma has the the money and the clout to hire any coach they want in the United States, and he just said he was grateful to be that guy tonight. Again, reiterating sort of a homecoming. He said there's nothing like being here in Norman tonight, and he's going to make his way back again. Oh, here we go again.
I'm going to find the truest Sooner fan here. If you're a true Sooner fan, you're going to have the answer to this question. 2022, Coach Brent Venables, my opener, my debut. Who the Sooners got?
I'm going to say UTEP.
All right, let me find another Sooner fan. All right. Who was, so I've had a nickname as a scout team quarterback for a number of years. They call me Jimmy Green Beans, all right? Who is my protege was our scout team quarterback that also was the first pick in the draft. Quarterback. Who was it? Sam Bradford.
Coach.
I got another great question. You'll see the history. All right. The most recent, the newest Hall of Fame inducted coach.
Coach.
Hey, yes, sir.
What's your message to fans tonight, Coach?
Message to fans tonight is just thank you and keep being you. Y'all make this place so special, and people have no idea the love and the appreciation that y'all have for your program. This is one of the richest storied programs in the history of college football. But it's not just all the success. It really is. It's the true passion and love that y'all have in this state for your team. And we separate ourselves with the excellence. There's a lot of good football programs that are out there, but there's only one OU. I just want to say, again, from the bottom of my heart, and for the Venables family, for my wife, Julie, for my sons, Jake, Tyler, Laney, and Addie, we couldn't be more proud and humbled to be back here in this great state representing this incredible program. And we just look forward to so many incredible memories together. This is going to be a journey full of a lot of joy. So, thanks for being out here tonight.
We got to give a raise to that roving reporter. All right, Stormy.
Way to go.
Stormy.
Way to get that.
You know, I started to mention, Storm, that Bob Stoops is in Las Vegas right now. I mentioned Coach Switzer being there. Coach Switzer's there because Bob is being inducted into the Hall of Fame right now. So that's what's going on there. And you notice the raspy voice. That's the voice of a defensive coordinator.
A lot of people making comments on that, and that's something that you say it's certainly recognizable.
Oh, my gosh. Normally, it's after a game that you hear a coach like that, but that is either Brent, who's worn it out after decades of screaming, or tonight just being so excited and throughout the day that he's lost his voice. But unbelievable. And by the way, we mentioned 10:30 tomorrow, our press conference. We will be carrying that live for you as well as this.
Okay. The one thing you talked about a little earlier, Dean, is about the energy that this coach has and a lot of willingness for his players to play for him because of that. we saw a prime example of that tonight.
Just tell me this. Who spontaneously can you think of the last coach to grab a microphone in a situation like this? Just being flown in, jumps out there. This guy's never been a head coach before. Really hadn't done that much media.
I don't know. I'll try. Yeah.
I think Storm's having...
Storm, jump in if you want.
Oh, okay.
You want to talk to me real quick? Yeah. What's your name? I'm Will Brown. Will, are you a student at OU? I sure am. What made you want to come out here tonight? It's kind of a given. Just Sooner magic. The love of the Sooner sport, and it's football. What do you think about this pick of Coach Venables? A great pick. What a great pick. I mean, SEC brand. I mean, it couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. All right, very good. Hey, what's your name, bud?
Mason.
Mason. What do you got there?
Football signed by Coach Venables.
You think that's probably his first autograph as an OU football coach?
Really?
The second. All right. Why did you want to be out here tonight, bud?
Well, OU football is one of my favorite things of all time, and I've been a fan my whole life.
Your whole life? How old are you?
10.
All right, 10-year-old, buddy. High five. That's going to be valuable, that football right there. Coach Venables now in the motorcade with Athletic Director Joe Castiglione, University of Oklahoma President Joseph Harris, and all of their families in tow this evening. Again, a formal press conference prepared for tomorrow. But what a welcome here in Norman, guys.
And Sylvia, I want to wrap back around as we close this portion of it to finish the thought that I was making a little bit earlier. Folks, just remember 7 days ago. I mean, I was sitting on a set waiting for Lincoln Riley to come do the coach's show. Hey, it didn't bother me that he stiffed me for 4 hours and then didn't come whatsoever. I mean, it didn't. But anyway, that's where we were. He took off. People were just depressed. It was horrible.
And
it's going to be a big challenge.
The videos linking out.
So you have that. You have a week of questions. The national media, Oklahoma, I mean, they're losing everybody. Who are they going to hire? Oklahoma has come through this process of after losing Bedlam, not winning another Big 12 championship, no playoff, Lincoln Riley leaving, players leaving, and now a few days later, Joe C. nails his guy, brings him in, and you see that celebration. It is something I have never seen before, certainly in the history of this school.
No, and people are excited. You know, something like that when OU or OSU loses the Bedlam game, it's something that we see and we hear that they're hanging their head for weeks. It's something they do not ever want to lose, and they have bounced back so quickly, and we can say because of this guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so the new coach making his way from the airplane. I don't know if he's going home directly after this, but we will be following this the rest of the night.
Absolutely. We're going to have a blitz for you coming right up that's going to last a long time. Then we're going to give you some news and weather. Don't forget us. But stay tuned for that blitz and more coverage of Brent Venables, Oklahoma's new football coach.